The Good Citizens Podcast.
All right, so, we talked about politics, talked a little bit about that, but I think there's something else that we can bring up, that we can talk about that's kind of, it is political. It is political, but it also talks about a person that's near and dear to black people's hearts and to rap fans and a lot of people. That's Ice Cube and what he's kind of talked about in regards to
West Side,
in regards to the politicians, the presidential candidates, and the work that he's done with them.
Doc is mad at Cube.
I want to hear Dolo explain first of all. I want to hear Dolo explain a little bit of his point of view on this and what Ice Cube has done, and then I want these two to argue about it.
So basically, Cube drew up the contract with Black America. He said he presented it to both parties. Democrats said, we'll talk to you after the election. Republicans were actually more willing to work with him right now at this point than the Democrats were. So, he sat down, he talked with them. And, people were acting like he shouldn't have talked with them. Like, they're not in power. Like, you don't have to sit with the people from the other side at some point to actually get things done. But, yeah.
That's valid.
Is it?
That's valid. I mean, my thing is this: if you're gonna sit down on one side, I don't care who responded first. Like that, to me, that's petty.
He said responded first.
He said he reached out.
He said the Democrats said,
"We'll get back to you. We'll get back to you." That means we'll get back to you. It is what it is.
I guess that's a response. Is Dolo's point.
It's a response, but you can still meet with both sides is what I'm saying. And also remember, this is what Cube is telling us. Let's just say that much, because we don't know, right? No one's spoken out from both sides, so he could tell me whatever he wants to say to make himself look better. Because I feel like, honestly, at this point, and I respect Cube tremendously, but I feel like he's backpedaling a little bit. Like
backpedaling now?
Yeah, because he's already in this election. He's kind of made statements which would kind of say, basically, don't support the Democratic Party, right? He didn't really give justification as to why. So I'm sorry, Q, but I'm going to look at you a little bit skeptically.
Did he say don't support the Democratic Party? Or did he say,
what have they done for you?
Exactly.
What have they done for Black America?
Did he say make them earn our vote?
I agree that it was harmful. And the reason I don't like it is because I don't really like the timing of Cube, of what he did. Not so much the statements. I mean, I think that some of the stuff that he put in the contract with Black America was definitely are things that have already been implemented. And I read a little bit of it, and it kind of, it's I don't think that it was that as progressive and, some of that stuff is already going on. I think Cube, and I think he did consult with public policy experts and stuff like that, but you can't come a month before the election and put this because Trump is going to tell you, like, he's looking for any way to manipulate the black vote at this point, because he knows that most black people are not going to vote for him. So he's like, okay, I can go out and put and tweet that, Katrina Pearson can tweet that Cube is working with us. Thank you for your leadership. His son is tweeting pictures of Cube and who was it, Diddy or something?
50.
And,
Cube and 50 with
Trump
hats on,
which was Photoshop. But I just felt like Cube should have known that they would use this to manipulate for votes right now without any secure promise of anything substantive.
But how do we know he didn't present this to them months ago?
I mean, he hasn't said that. I think people read way more into what he was doing because people were accusing him of being an undercover Trump supporter, which I don't think he's a Trump supporter. I don't think he's a Trump supporter.
He hasn't. But I wouldn't be surprised though. He may be a black Republican. He may very well be, which is fine.
People keep trying to flip this into him being a Trump supporter, and he has not once come out and spoken in favor of Trump, big up Trump, or none of that. He's saying, look, I presented the contract. They were willing to sit down with me. I sat down with them. Period.
My thing is, I think the more pertinent question for right now for Cube is, Trump is the incumbent president. What has Trump done for black people right now during his presidency?
Exactly.
Joe Biden has never been president before. Yes, Joe Biden has been in politics for 40-something years. And I think if you go back and look at his record, there are things that he did that affected black people in a positive way. Definitely things that he did that affected black people in a negative way. But Joe Biden has now put out a plan the Lift Every Voice plan, which at this point for me,
name is trash.
Right. I'm skeptical of Joe Biden's plan for Black America too. Like, don't get me wrong, but Joe Biden has not been the president for the last 3 years. Trump has. Now, all of a sudden, in year 4, right before the election, Trump got this platinum plan for black people, and Cube is like, well, they sat down and they talked to me. Of course they did, because it's right before the election.
And because so now you're kind of backpedaling when you out here looking crazy when they're photoshopping pictures. What did you expect Trump and his family to do when you link up with him? Like, that's what's gonna happen.
I don't see how he's backpedaling. I mean, I agree with you. Both your points are valid. Like, Trump has been president all this time. Neither one of them have a plan. Neither one of them have a plan for black folks. Like I said, we keep waiting on these old white men in suits to come and save black folks. It's not going to happen. So
The Good Citizens Podcast.